Hello there everybody, Sublime92 Nightmare, and apparently last episode we learned the truth. Callisto U was Sheena, or vice versa. But Callisto U isn't potentially not even her actual real name. As well as we learned the truth about the Yatagarasu being a three-man unit, or technically only two. As in the end, Callisto U was working under somebody else the entire time. Detective Bad, Mr. Faraday, and Callisto U. To think that that was the truth about the Yatagarasu. Although, to be fair, Detective Bad did kind of tell us the truth initially. Like, he gave us the three facts about it. And now, well, I guess Callisto U is now arrested, for the most part. But we still gotta find the ringleader. The big man behind the whole thing. The leader of the smuggling ring. Also, Lang got shot in the leg. March 15th, 12:17 a.m. Or, sorry, 12:07 a.m. Theatrum Neutralis lobby. So now we know who the Yatagarasu really was. And yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons crossed country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, We'll need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged.
Hey, there's a VCR here, sir.
Oh right, we were given a tape.
Now we can see what's going on that tape Detective Bad gave us.
This piece of evidence from the KG-8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us.
Sure thing, sir.
Alright, let's see what's on this tape. Ooh! This man. It's Manny Cochin. And he's holding a knife in his hand. This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG-8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance of the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes, somehow, someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amano. I can see how this would have been a definitive piece, and why someone would want to hide it.
But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir.
Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. So we have to look for it.
Where? Where?
Wait. What was that? Was that a beeping?
Huh?
That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again. Oh! Wait a minute. What's that flag? This car. This is something we cannot overlook. And there's people in there.
Why's that, sir?
Look here, Detective Gumshoe.
Take that!
Flag? This is the national flag of the Principality of Cadopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was a government car doing here? Doing there. Whoops, sorry. Uh-oh.
Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth. So you were here all this time?
Plot twist, it's him. Ambassador Alba.
Thank you very much for continuing the investigation even at this time of night. Oh, if only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I am truly sorry.
This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were.
You idiot, Quaggas! You couldn't chase after a simple thief!
Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that?
What? Excuse me.
I heard you've apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down. And we're in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away. So I hope that you can understand how I feel.
But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues.
Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Babylese police?
The ambassador! We are so close. Just a little more and...
Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway. Right.
That's true. However, as you said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil. In which case, we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends?
Shifu, we found Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
Wait a minute, is he okay? Shifu, this way. Lang? Yo! Dude, is your leg okay? Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly.
If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor.
Agent Lang, why have you returned?
Because I have to solve this case, no matter what.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable.
At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close.
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do.
Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel.
No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder.
Oh! You... No? Killer?
Do you really mean that, Agent Lang?
Wolves don't lie.
Then who is it?
Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Lang Shi says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Damask II's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Franziska von Karma.
I'm sorry, what? You... Are you serious? I was the killer. Hey, wait, but that's impossible.
Yeah. Although that whip is actually quite...
Held your tongue in that ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Wait a minute. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I think I have an idea. Lang has proven to be a good guy. Unless it's proven that he's actually a massive serial killer, in which case, bravo on your performance, Lang. I'm gonna read into his actions here, accusing Franziska. He's doing this to get to the actual truth. If he suddenly accuses Franziska, that means the investigation has to continue, thus kind of throwing out what the ambassador is saying, allowing them to actively continue their investigation. Unfortunately, this does put Franziska in the line of sight. But ironically, by turning her into, like, the suspect, it allows them to search for the actual truth. That, or he's legitimately actually just accusing her, because he thinks that. Anyway, are you seriously accusing her of murder?
Yeah, I am.
He doesn't appear to be joking.
Hey, sis. I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right?
Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything?
I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabast and Babal, did you not?
Objection!
Hold on! And where is your evidence that I am the killer?
Knuckle back!
I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
Good! Then let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
Ooh, bet your bottom dollar. That's a good one. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset. Not that I blame her.
I expected that you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that.
Hold it!
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part. And so that I may clean up my superior's mess.
I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery.
Oh, in that case, I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabast yet.
If you let Kay in, then you've got to let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble.
That's not going to save you from being whipped.
Oh, well, I had to try.
Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay?
Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm fired up and raring to go.
As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over.
Oh, sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride.
Very well. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance.
Oh, I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go.
Let's see if I'm right. Also, we just left the tape there. Oh, fuck, of course he's gonna be here too. March 15th, 12:53 a.m., Alabastian Embassy Ambassador's Office.
Okay, now, let's first go over the facts one more time. Manny Kojin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babol. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then the body of Damask II, Mr. Casino, was found here in the Alabastian Ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this prima duck statue. And that this is actually Babol's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying?
Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so while people were distracted by the Atakurasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Even if that all were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Don't worry. I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that, too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines.
Hey now!
Look, sis, I thought I'd already told you I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring. But Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring.
He is right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already. Francisca, you need to calm down. Believe me, I've been accused of various things before in my life. You kind of get used to it. Well, I say you get used to it, but realistically, we don't.
Could you move to the point?
Because you only know the facts of the Alabastian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it.
What?
But don't worry. I am taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence.
That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well.
Of course. And I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damask II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damask II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. Oh, boy. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do.
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. Let's get this started.
Yes, let's.
Here we go.
All right, let me check something real quick. I didn't check my, what evidence I've got available to me right now. Okay, so, prosecutor's badge. The embassy's guide is still here. Kochin's body, Yatagarasu's key, Alabastian knife, Babal's prima duck statue, Kadopian paper document, the counterfeit. Interesting, the counterfeit bills are still important. The fact that Samurai Dogs is still here. Okay. Alabaster prima duck statue, samurai spear. Actually, a good portion of this is literally still... Yeah. Okay, that's actually cool. We can actually just check that.
Cool. Highly appreciated. Now then,
Let's go.
One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin. And the murder weapon in the killing of Damas II is Babal's prima duck statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security.
Well, that's because they're probably smuggled in. Oh. Oh. Hold up.
The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you.
Okay, I think I have an idea. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisca will remain a suspect.
You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've worked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss!
Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so if it's not the initial idea that I had about Lang, he's hurting right now. Someone that he trusted turned out to be a legitimately bad person. So right now, he's reeling. Somebody that he trusted betrayed him, which calls into question his ability to trust anyone. Because if somebody you trust that closely just betrays you, it makes you question whether you can judge a person or not. Whether you can trust anyone. So right now, in a way, looking at him, he's lashing out. By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Shi never said anything to that effect?
You prosecutor. Who do you think you are speaking about Lang Shi's proverbs like that?
I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you will need to see the truth. Okay. Let's start pressing.
Hold it!
I concur that this knife crossed over country lines.
Good, but that's not the only thing that did. You mustn't forget about the other weapon. The knife was only one.
Well, that was quick.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Prima Duck statue was also brought over by Francisca?
Like I told you before, that's the only way to make sense.
Hold it!
Hold up. And how exactly did she bring it over?
I haven't figured that out yet.
That's a rather weak statement, considering how sure you are.
Maybe, but there is one thing I do know for sure.
Hold it!
Impenetrable? I should hardly think so.
Knuckle back!
You've seen the top of the wall between the two countries, right? Who in the world could cross over that?
Yeah, not even I could climb over that thing with all that barbed wire.
The only way into either embassy is through the doors in the Theatre Neutralis. So the only way for the knife and the Prima Duck statue to traverse the two countries is through those security camera-equipped, well-guarded doors.
Or smuggling.
Hold it!
Was Francisca really the only person to have traveled between the two countries?
Well, according to the guards at both doors, she is the only one to go back and forth. The sis there was an alabaster when the Yatagarasu showed. And then just before you guys found Mr. Kochin's body, she entered Babol. I think we can assume that's when she brought the knife into Babol.
Objection!
Hold up. And then how do you explain the Prima Duck statue? She can't just hide that in her bosom or something like that. I'll try. I'm sorry, what?
However, the fact that the two weapons crossed the border proves that the killer must have also traveled across the country lines.
The only things to cross the border are the prima duck statue and the knife? I should hardly think that those are the only two items, Agent Lang. Okay, so my thought process is I present one of the statues. I don't think it matters which statue I press, because actually, maybe no. Wait, no. It probably does. It does matter which one I probably take. Because right now my line of thinking is that there is a way, and it's simply, smuggling. That seems to be like the, best way to do it. Actually, wait a minute, maybe the babal is the one that we need to smuggle, since it was a fake. Let's see.
Objection!
Let's see if I'm right. And apparently I am right. Maybe. Potentially. Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight.
Oh?
Damas II was killed with Babal's prima duck statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's prima duck statue go?
To Babal!
Precisely. And if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies.
I guess so, but you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it! Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabasta and Babal is her!
Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of a wall.
Objection!
Is that really so, Agent Lang?
What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guards said, along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily.
Objection!
Oh, we'll see about that. But suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors.
What other way?
The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I point it out, it would open up a new whole possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility.
It looks like you've got some clever idea in mind.
I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence.
Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route.
Oh, it's the photo. Because it's outside, it's not through the theater. Do I still have the photo? Yes, I do. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries.
Take that!
Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo.
That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly!
Wire! No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well.
And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of claiming that.
And I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again, it's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings! So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor!
But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation.
It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it! The face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is...
Oh. Oh! Wait, I've been thinking about this wrong this whole time. Okay, We have been thinking this whole time that I thought it was a person swinging around on wire. There is one other possibility. There's one other fucking possibility. Who said this had to be a person? There is another possibility. The statue. Now, if only the voice thing actually worked, because I'd say, take that!
Take that!
Yeah! Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object. The Prima Duck statue replica.
You can't be serious.
Buddy, Lang, do you not realize you're in an Ace Attorney game? The Yatagarasu, or rather Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air.
Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that?
He is literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point as sharp as those fangs. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier?
Hey sis, I will remember just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right?
So just before the murder, Francisca was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. What, cross-examine Francisca? Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma.
Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy?
That is... Okay then.
What's the problem?
No, nothing. Thank you. Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred. Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer.
Yeah, I guess I did say something like that.
In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is.
Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I'm the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. Francisca, I feel that I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case.
All right. So, what would you like me to talk about?
I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred.
All right. Let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl, no!
As you wish. All right, Francisca. Let's hear your testimony.
As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Okay, that was simple. Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So, what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. Alright, alright. Let's begin pressing.
Hold it!
I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could find about the smuggling ring.
Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Yatagarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened here back then?
Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself.
It looks like you remember the case after all.
Of course I do.
I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police's security detail. I did all that. Then after that...
Hold it!
So you're at the theater as well?
Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show.
Well, yes. So Franziska was there.
Well, after the show was over and I saw the Steel Samurai off...
Hold it!
So far, nothing I can really work with right now. Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech?
For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yatagarasu had planned on getting in, right?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
And in the end, the Yatagarasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow?
Calm down, Franziska! She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself.
Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden. And we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter.
Okay, again, so far nothing.
Hold it!
At that time, Damask II's body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct?
That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
I heard that.
A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants.
I can attest to that. I remember speaking with a lovely lady around that time here in my office.
All right then, add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details.
Ooh, so Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he?
When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Ooh.
Hold it!
The flowers? You mean the... Fuck, what are they called? The... passion flowers? Hold on. I think I still have that in my evidence, actually. Yeah! 2 large flowers in bloom, and they're in the Alabastian Embassy ambassador's office. For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on this side. However, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right?
Ooh, now this is interesting. I suppose.
After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes. The plants in this room, they're all like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full bloom.
There's only 2 here. There's only 2 there. Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box.
No, there wasn't. There is only 2.
Objection!
Bull! Francisca, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth? What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
I'm not.
Yes, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir.
Ow!
All I've done is state what I saw. I have made not a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that's important to at this juncture, Miles?
Exceptionally. At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant.
Ha! Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove?
That there's 2 missing flowers? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy.
They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I understand.